Hello and welcome. I'm glad you could join me today. I'm Susan Malloy of Silver Lady Stamping, and I'm also a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator. Today I wanted to show you how to make this purse treat holder using the all dressed up dies. It's just so cute. When I saw it, I just loved it. I cased it from Linda Heller, who is also a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I saw it online, but she demonstrated it as at one of Stampin' Up's 2019 on stage events. And a little sidebar note, if anybody doesn't know what on stage is, if you haven't heard of it, it's an annual event hosted by Stampin' Up! For its demonstrators across the country, and there are events at many locations across the country. And those events, it's usually a 2-day event, although last year it was a virtual one, but it was no less awesome. But the in-person events, 2-day events, are packed with demonstrations, music, prizes, and stamping. That's a super fun part of it as well. It's just an incredible experience, and I have to say that that's yet another bonus of or benefit of being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you wanted, if you've not heard of it before and you wanted to learn more about it, you could probably Google online and see comments about on stage, and you'll see maybe there might even be some photos available. Honestly, I really encourage you to check that out. It's really a super fun event, and it's one of the fun perks of being a demonstrator. So that's just my little sidebar. Let's get back to the project. So I'm going to get to it and show you all of the parts that we're going to make. Now, I will just say first, I made this one with Flirty Flamingo cardstock. The one we're going to make today, though, I decided to do one in polished pink, and I think that would be really cute. And then, as you can see, I added a little tassel, which I made, and I'm going to show you how to make the tassel. It's just such a cute little purse. Oh, and let me just show you that. So this has a little pocket. That's a little pocket, and here's a little teeny card. And it has a little sentiment on the inside. Is that cute or what? And then you can just tuck it right into the pocket, fill it with whatever it is that you want to fill it with, some candy, a gift card. Look at it, it's really got quite a lot of space on the inside, so you could, fill it with a lot of candy, a gift card, or whatever else you might want to, or a little gift. It's just so cute, and the recipient, it's like a little gift in itself. So, all right, let me just set this aside, and I'll show you what you're going to need in order to put this together. So, as I said, we're going to use the all dressed up dies, and these are the dies, and we're only going to use a few of them, and here's some of them. But these are not the ones we're going to use. I already pulled out the ones we are going to use. Now, this is the frame for the purse. I'll turn it around. Now, this is the top part of it. So I'll pull this back in. So it's this, let me just see. So it's this part of it right here. So we're going to use this frame, and we're going to cut 2 of these. And then we have, let me just show you. So I went ahead and cut the 2 pieces because there's no need for you to see me cutting online. That's pointless. So we're going to use that piece. Those are done. And we are also going to use this long piece, which is going to cut the straps of our purse. So we're going to need 2 of those. So I'll set those aside. And in addition, we are going to cut with some gold foil paper These are the little clasps, so you'll see, let me bring the purse back in again. So here's the little, well, I forget what you call them, but yeah, we're gonna put those on. So we're gonna cut 2 of those. Then we're also going to punch out or die cut a little button, which I put on the little piece on the front, the designer series paper in the front. And it also, the dies also have a little sentiment die, which I used to cut out some designer series paper, as I said, for this piece right here. So basically you use whatever designer series paper you have, and it only requires a small scrap of it. So I've already cut those pieces out. So these pieces are from the gold foil sheet that's in the catalog. All right, and I'm going to show you how to make excuse me, a tassel. It's actually not difficult at all. So we'll attach that to the card. All right, so what we're going to do then, I'll show you the other pieces that we'll use as we go along. So like I said, you're going to need 2 pieces. You're going to need to die cut 2 of these, because one will be the front and one will be the back. And as you can see, it has score lines. So it has, you know, it's going to be pretty evident where the score lines are. And we're just going to gently fold. Now, I will tell you, don't be too rough with the folding. In other words, I wouldn't use your bone folder and give it a good, don't give it a good sharp crease, because what I have learned is giving it too sharp of a crease actually will create a cut in the paper. And I also found that the cardstock seems to work better than designer series paper. So I made a purse with designer series paper. But when I folded it along the fold lines, what I got every single time was on like one of these edges, I always got a split. And it was usable, but what I had to do was, when the purse was made, excuse me, I had to put some glue and press it together to keep it in place. So I didn't end up throwing it away. And putting the glue in, you couldn't see it in the finished product, but still it was rather annoying to have to go through that. So I will but I haven't experienced that with doing the purses using the cardstock. But like I said, don't give it a crisp fold. Just give it a gentle fold. And I definitely do not use my bone folder. So we're just going to go around to all the folded edges. Okay. Now at this little tab will, on both sides, will fold over like that. And then and then we'll bring the other side over, and then we will, you know, we'll attach the front to the back. All right, so I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. This just happens to be my go-to. I really like the liquid glue. It just has a little bit more forgiveness, so I'm not using a lot. All right, we're just going to, now you could certainly use Stampin' Seal if you prefer it. You know, with the liquid glue, you just have to hold it a little bit longer to keep it in place, where the Stampin' Seal, if you put it on, it pretty much stays immediately. And for this project, it would, you know, that would be great. But I still prefer my liquid glue. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're just going to fold it up and fold it over. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue, fold it over, and hold it in place. Oop. And it doesn't matter if a little of the glue peeks out. We'll wipe it off in a second. We grab a paper towel. And it dries clear anyway. Okay. Just want to hold it for a second or two. Okay, and I think we're good. All right, so now you have these two, you know, that look identical. So you'll take one side and you'll fold it over. You'll flip it over. And what we're going to do is once you flip it over, we're going to glue it in place front to back like that. Okay? All right, so I'm going to just put some along this edge. And the bottom will slide over. See, we're going to slide over. And then we will glue that in place. But now, for now, oops, let me get my hands around it. I want to just line up the edges and hold it in place. Like that. And I just love that the All Dressed Up dies are stitched dies. So it's going to give your finished project a really nice look to it. So I'll show you the finished one again so you can see how the stitched edges just give it a kind of a finished look. Okay. All right, so we have that. Let me bring this across the bottom. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to a little glue. And hold it in place. A little sliding. Okay. This is maybe where the Stampin' Seal would be good because you don't have to hold it in place. You can just put it on, tack it down, and you're done. So I think one of the things I might do is get my bone folder and just, because I use the liquid glue, I'm going to put it inside and just give it a press. All right. Fold it over and give that side a press. Okay. Now, what we're going to have to do is put a little bit of glue on the bottom and just press that in place. Okay. Oop. Let me get that in there. Being a little stubborn, so I'll just put my bone folder in and give it a press from the inside. Get my head out of the camera. Okay, well, there we go. So now we have the framework of our purse. Okay. So now when you have cut your two pieces of the handle, the purse straps, we are going to bring in our two little clasps. And we're going to pick one of them up and just push it in from the back side, right? Push it in from the back side and weave it through. So I suppose it really doesn't much matter if you did it in the other way, like if you did it that way, but you won't see the, you won't see the clasp. So just weave it in from the back side and then over the center and then into the back. And now you're able to actually see the clasp itself. Okay. And you can do the same thing with the other one. I'll make sure I got this facing the right way. Again, put it in from the back and weave it down. Simple, right? Easy, easy peasy. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll bring in the glue or your Stampin' Seal, whatever you prefer. And I'm going to put a little bit on the back. Let's see how good I do on this. Oop, let me show you on the camera. So I'm just putting some on the bottom, a little bit on the top. All right, and then I'm going to line up the top of the clasp to the top of the purse. No particular reason, just that I thought that would be a good frame of reference. And that I think that's how a purse normally would be. Okay, you know what? I didn't mean to put the clasp on the other one. Doesn't matter because it's not glued down. I was doing this wrong. I'll show you what we're going to do. I just want to make sure this is nice and stuck down. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to twist around the strap. And we're going to put the clasp on the other side. Right, so what we'll do is we'll just do what we did with the other one, from the back into the front. Okay, so now we weave this around, kind of have the amount of the tail at the bottom sort of equal to the other one, right? You want them kind of to look similar and not have one too much longer or shorter than the other one. Oop. This one doesn't seem to want to stay tacked down. Okay, so I'm just, again, going to put a little bit of glue on the back of that one. We'll swing it around. I'm all thumbs today. And then we'll tack it down in the same way we did the other one. We'll line up the clasp to the top of the purse. Just hold it until it dries. This is kind of the longest amount of time you have to wait just to let the glue dry. And then we'll put the other strap on in the back, but we're not going to put the clasps on the back. Don't need to. This is the decorative side. So for the back, we're just going to put one end on and then attach the other end, and that's it. So actually, rather than continuing to wait for the liquid glue, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Seal. We'll see how this works. If you've worked with Stampin' Seal at all, you know that using it can be a little annoying at times. So let me make sure I'm putting this on with the stitching in the right way. Yep. Okay, that one on okay. Sometimes you get a little extra hanging over the edges, and if you do, just tuck it back behind it so you can't see it again. So I don't know if you can, you probably can't see. There's a little extra. You just tuck it back so you can't see it. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to just tack it down the right way. I was starting to tack it down backwards. Okay. Okay, I'm going to swing it around and tack down the other side. Okay. It's kind of easier with the Stampin' Seal. And there we have, so far, not bad, right? Really not bad at all. Okay, now I'll put my Stampin' Seal aside. And you know what? I'm going to flip this over because I did get some Stampin' Seal on the paper and I don't want to stick anything that I don't want stuck down. All right, so now what we can do, I'm going to bring in the piece that we cut for the front of the purse. And what we're going to do is we're only going to tack down the edges and not the top. So the sides and the bottom, and that's all. So again, I think I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal there on the sides. And again, I always end up getting it everywhere. And a little on the side. So you can pretty much just put it in the center or at the bottom, whatever you prefer. And you know what? I do still have a little bit of that tape sticking up. Just wanted to put it in the back a little bit so you can't see it. Okay. So, I mean, now you have it tacked down, but you can still, get that in there, but it still has an open top, right, like that. Okay, and we have our little button. For that, I'm just going to tap on a little bit of glue. Oop, just a little bit, and put it at the top. Turn it a little. Tap it in place. My fingers are sticky, so it keeps wanting to stick to my finger and come back off. Okay, so now you have your little button. Okay. And we are now going to, I want to show you how to make the little card that goes in it, the little sentiment card. Now this is really optional, I mean, but if you wanted to give it a little extra wow, this is how we do it. And then I'll show you how to make the tassel. Okay, I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and we're going to cut a piece of polished pink, and we're going to cut it at 2.5 by 1, and then we're going to fold it in half. So let's just cut it at 2.5 because I want to make it like 1.25. My scoring blade. Let's see, have I done this right? Yeah. And I wanted to do that by 1 inch. So we'll do it this way. We'll do it to the right because that way I can get a better grip on it. pull this down so you can see it. So that's at 1 inch. There we go. We have a little sentiment card. But we're going to score it at, all right, so I cut it at 2.5. So we're going to score it at 1.5. You could typically just also just fold it in half. Not 1.5, 1.25. That's cut in half. Okay. So you have a little tiny card. Now the other piece that goes over the top, we're going to cut that at 2 3/8 by 7/8. All right, I think I'm going to cut the 7/8 part first. So 7/8. Okay, just a little tab, and 2 3/8. So we had cut the other one at 2.5, and I just want to give it a little bit of a border, not much. So we're just going to do it at 2 and, no, actually, no, we're not doing it that way, because I only want the sentiment on the front. So that was 1 1/4. So we're going to do it at 1. Sorry, I made that. So it's going to be 1 by 7/8. You know, let me again do it the other way. Don't go by my measurements. Okay. So it's going to be 1 by 7/8. Right? So 1 by 7/8. Now, if, you know, you wanted to cut it at 2 3/8 by 7/8, that would give you a piece for the inside, right? And you could make a white inside piece to write something, and we can do that. So we've already cut it at 7/8. So we're gonna, why don't we do that? We'll cut it at 2 3/8. 2 and 1, 2 and 3. Right? So we'll do that anyway. And then what you have is you have a piece for the inside that we can glue down, and then you could write a little sentiment. So let's go ahead and just do that. I have a little black mark on the inside, so that'll go right on the bottom where no one will see it. Okay. All right. There we go. Let's hold it down a little bit longer. Give it a little back rub. Okay, we can fold it in half. And then you can write something in it, or you can stamp another sentiment. All right, so we have this little piece right here. Now I do have a sentiment that I got from Encircled in Friendship, and I pulled this one out. I need a small one. I'm not sure if this is going to fit the entire thing. We'll see. I might need a smaller one, but let's give it a go and see what happens. All right. I'm doing this without sticking my head in the whole thing. Okay. Oh, actually, not so bad. So now you know. The Encircled in Friendship, You're the Best sentiment fits on this tiny. Now I did have a little smudge, but that's all right. I'm giving it to a friend and she'll understand. Okay. I'm just going to put a little, put this up so you can see a little glue right there rather than putting it on the back of this one. You know what? It's so tiny, it's hard to pick up. And just place it on your little tiny card. Is that adorable or what? I just think it's so cute. Now you could put a gem dot on it if you wanted to. I'm not going to. Let me bring the little purse back in, and you can just tuck the little card right in there. Oh my God, that is so cute. I just love it. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to make a little tassel. And what we'll do is we'll put the little tassel on the purse. And I'll even show you how to color it to match the purse. Okay, so this is a handy dandy little way of doing it. So first, I'll tell you the twine I'm using. So this is white twine from the Baker's Twine Essentials pack, and in it you get white, black, very vanilla, soft suede, and I'm pretty sure that that's no, that's black. So you get white, black, very vanilla, smoky slate, and soft suede. So you get 5 in a pack. So we're going to use the white, but if I didn't have any, I'm using the white up pretty quickly. So if I didn't have the white, I would go with the very vanilla. And I think you'd be fine with that one. All right, so when you start to make your little tassel, just cut yourself first, just one length, not very long. Let me see. Let me just check the length of it. It's about 7 inches, give or take. And then you're just going to lay it across your hand, and we're going to wrap the twine across 2 fingers. And I want to lay it across like that because we're going to bring that around and tie it for the little tassel at the top. I mean, for the, I'll show you, let me just show you quickly what I'm talking about. So this piece right here, this one is what I laid across my fingers, and then I began wrapping the twine around my fingers. And then when it was done, I was able to then wrap it this way. I wrapped it up and then tied it and got this piece right here. So this piece is going to be instrumental because it's going to hold it together, and then you can tie it around the purse. The one that I did, I used a jump ring, a jewelry jump ring. But then I realized you don't really need to. I mean, you'd have to go to a craft store and start buying a jump ring. So there's a better way that you can just do it with the twine. So, and here it is. Here's the methodology. And I'm not going to be very elegant about it because it can be a little awkward. So then you just begin to take your twine, just take a length of it, because you can always trim it later, right? So don't worry about it. And wrap it around 2 fingers. And I'm only doing 2 fingers because of the length that I want. If you wanted a longer tassel, you can certainly do it whatever length you want. We only have a tiny pocketbook, so I only need 2 fingers. So I'm just going to begin wrapping the twine. Now see how I have the 2 ends right there? Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. So, whoop. Okay. And just keep wrapping it around. And then what you'll do is you'll wrap it as many times as you want until you think the thickness of the tassel that you want. So however many you want. Okay. And I think that's good. So now I'm just going to cut that. And then I'm going to right. Now you have these two strings, so you can pull it off your fingers, right? Just pull it off. I know, keep going out of camera, I'm sorry. Pull it off of your fingers, and then just take the two ends. I hope you can see me doing this. Take the two ends and just pull it and tie a knot. Okay, so now you have a knot on one end. You can just pull the long ends down, all right? So you don't have to cut them off. All right, so now what we're going to do is cut the other end that's connected. All right, so we'll just cut the other end. And don't worry about that it's all uneven at the bottom, we'll even it out. All right, so there's the beginning of the tassel. And now what we're going to do is just take another little bit of your twine, because we want to tie it around the top. Okay, let's see if I cut enough. And you'll just take it and tie it around the top. And bring it together. I'm going to pull it up a little bit more. Can you see that? I actually want to pull it up a little bit more. I think it's down a little too much. And give it. Of course, we know what I ended up doing was I got to take it out again because the two pieces, I didn't mean to. I told you to blend in the two pieces. That's not what I meant to do. So bring them back up, because these are the two pieces that we're going to need to tie to the purse. So sorry about that. There's one piece and the other piece. We're learning together. I only learned how to do this morning. All right. So now, once those two strings are sticking up, let's see if I can, I'll show you. You can see them a little bit better. So you got the two strings sticking up. Okay. Well, now we're going to bring in the extra little piece. And lay it underneath, and now we're going to tie it. And this can be a little bit awkward because you're using it to, yeah, I'm kind of all thumbs with this. Let's try it again. I appreciate your patience with me. See if I can get this done. Might have been easier if I had cut a bigger piece. Okay. I'm trying to pull those little stray pieces down. Not the most elegant little tassel. I'm going to give it another tie. And I'm going to pull those two pieces down. Okay. There we go. I do have one extra little piece that seems to be stubborn. All right, so what we're going to do though is just, you have all these stray pieces. So I'm just going to kind of gather them up, and this is where you can tidy up your tassel and make it a little bit straighter. Okay. All right. Okay, so now what I want to do is show you how to color your tassel so that it matches the purse. And the way to do that is I'm going to bring in the polished pink Stampin' Blend. And all you're going to do really is just color it in. And you don't have to color the entire tassel. I mean, you can leave some white, but you see how nice it is? And I'm going to color the top of it. And I'm going to color the strings that we tie with. Just to kind of have it match. Okay. And I'll color the sides. This is just a quick and easy way to get some coloring and some blending, and I kind of like the idea of that it has some white in it. So look, it's kind of pretty that way. Now, the one that Linda Heller did was she only colored the bottom, so you could certainly do that as well, or you could leave it completely white if that's what you prefer. So let's bring in our purse again, and this is where you would just tie it. So I'm just weaving it around the back and then around the front again. Now you could either tie a bow or just tie a knot, which is what I think I'm going to do. This tying a bow with twine can be a little awkward. So I'm just going to tie a knot this time and then give it a little trim. There we go. And there you have it. Goodness, is that cute or what? And you're done. So my apologies about my being all thumbs when it came to the tassel, but I hope I was able to convey the process. You just take a you take a string, put it across your fingers, and then begin to weave. Wrap it around 2 fingers, and then tie it up, snip the bottom, and then tie another piece around the top of it for the head, and then you have these 2 strings at the top that you can use to tie it to your purse. And then of course your little card. So now you have a gift card, the tiniest of gift cards, and you can either stamp another sentiment inside or write something to the recipient. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you will visit me again on Friday. I haven't decided yet what my tutorial will be on Friday. I have a few ideas, so I don't want to commit in case I change my mind, but it's going to be something nice. And please subscribe to my channel, so that, and then click the little bell at the bottom. I think there's a little bell at the bottom, that you can get notified whenever I post new content. So I want to thank you again for joining me today, and thank you for watching.